thank God. What a huge win. And one we thoroughly deserved. And fair play Julian Lopetegui. He got his lineup right and we played well. Shock. The last few weeks I've kind of questioned Lopetegui a lot. Obviously we're up to 12th now, which I think is the highest we've been in the league so far. And a lot of the results went against us, so we kind of had to win this game. And obviously we did drop off a bit in the second half, but the first half was really good. I thought we managed the game well second half. And we took advantage of a pretty weak Chelsea side. But it was all about the lineup. As soon as I saw that lineup on Twitter at 2 o'clock, I knew we'd win that game, or at very worst draw. I never felt like we were going to lose. And it feels like Lopetegui's been, I don't want to say self-sabotaging, but it feels like he's been picking idiotic lineups. And I've been questioning him on Twitter recently, and I think that's rightly so, because he's been doing some really dumb stuff that's, kind of made this relegation battle a lot harder than it should have been. I think if he picked this lineup, maybe with Neves instead of Lamina or whatever, against Leeds, and especially against Forest, I think we'd win that game, and we'd be, a couple of points behind Chelsea now. But look, that's the past, that's irrelevant. He learned from his mistakes, and you got to give him credit for that. When Neves gets suspended, there's always going to be people concerned. But I thought that was one of our better midfield performances of the season. I think everyone's scared of what Wolves will look like without Ruben Neves, and I think that's a fair enough question to ask. But I thought Lamina did all the defensive stuff Ruben does. I thought Joao Gomes basically did everything and ran that game. And Nunes, I'm still undecided on Nunes. That goal was beautiful. And when you're a team that doesn't really have many goal threats, you've kind of got to have players like Matheus Nunes step up and kind of take some credit and kind of step up in big moments, and he did. But even in that game, which was probably one of his better games of the season, he still highlighted and showed why he's not like a Liverpool midfielder yet. In the last 20 minutes of that game, there was 2 times on the ball where he takes like 3 or 4 touches, he's sloppy and does a stupid pass. One of them was to Semedo, and I can't remember who the other one was to. They were just under hit or bad, and Chelsea nearly go and score on the counter. I'm surprised he didn't come off earlier, but overall he did have a better game, but he needs to cut that out. He needs to be coached, man. Like, he's a liability on the ball, but apart from that, he had a really good game. And Joao Gomes was brilliant. He had a really well-rounded performance. When we signed him from Flamengo, I kind of just thought he'd be another Lamina type, like just an out-and-out defensive midfielder. And he feels a lot more than that. He feels a lot more well-rounded. And if Neves does leave and Joao Gomes and Lamina are kind of the 2 guys who will replace him along with Boubacar, I don't really have any issues with that. As good as Ruben is, just because a player's really good doesn't mean you can't replace them. And I do think we're okay with Ruben. And look, the attack wasn't incredible. I thought Podence was okay, but didn't really do anything special. I thought he tracked back really well, though. Cunha was lively, got in really good areas, especially in the second half. And I think we always play better when Cunha's in the side, whether it's in a 4-4-2, whether it's in a 4-3-3, which kind of switched between the two in the game. Nunes did go on the right quite a lot, but I thought Cunha had a good game. You can tell he's getting used to the league now, but he does need to work on his decision making. But I thought he had a good game. Diego Costa had his best game of the season. I was baffled watching that game. I've never seen Diego Costa run around so much. I'm not surprised that he came off, but he had a really good game. I thought Kilman probably had his best game of the season. Kilman gets a lot of unfair stick, but he's played basically every minute of every game. He's still a really good ball carrier. He's pretty good on the ball. I thought he had a good game. Craig Dawson had a good game as well, not Nathan Collins. Craig Dawson's passing still is a bit of an issue when we're trying to build up, and I do feel sorry for Semedo. The amount of runs Semedo makes going forward, and like Collins Dawson will overhit it or whatever, but overall he's added something. Jose Sa had nothing to do. And again, Totti had a really good game. Like, fair play to Totti Gomez, man. He's not really had many chances, and a lot of the times it's either been when we've been in crisis or out of position, but he's never really let the club down, and I think he's earned a spot in the squad next season. Whether that's, and even more now, the fact he's shown that he can be a competent left back at Premier League level, or left side of a back 3, or even in a back 2, he showed his importance, and I think he's earned that spot now. And fair play to him. He stood up, and that performance was better than any one that Johnny's put in this season. And by the way, Hwang came. I'm not a big fan of Hwang. When Costa came off and Hwang came on, he was brilliant. He pressed really well. He always made the correct decision. He held the ball up well. He run fouls. He should have gone on and scored, but apparently he fouled Koulibaly. But yeah, that was just a brilliant game. I'm happy Lopetegui finally got his lineup right. I think we're basically safe now. I think we need 2 more wins maybe. 2 more wins gets us to 37 points. I think we'll be okay. And especially with the other teams around us, because if we didn't lose this game, we'd be on 20. what, 28 points. Yeah, we'd be, and there's still some other teams to play as well. So yeah, look, that midfield three is exciting, and it kind of showed that we probably will be okay without Ruben Neves. Cunha's having some bright sparks. Look, there's still issues in this squad, obviously, but the core of the squad next season is there if we get some correct signings and Lopetegui starts picking up the best 11s. By the way, Giammattino came out and did really well as well. I slag off Giammattino a lot on Twitter, but it's not him. I'm not slagging him off. I'm just slagging him starting off. But when he comes off the bench like that, he does make good impacts. So yeah, fair play, Julian Lopetegui. And yeah, I think we're pretty much safe now. And I think we can kind of, assuming we get a couple of wins in the next few weeks, which I think we will do, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll beat one of Leicester or Brentford. Then that means we kind of need one win out of our last, 6? I think we're fine now. Genuinely, I think we're safe. I mean, I thought we were safe all season anyway. But yeah, I hope this is the lineup he kind of sticks with. Obviously, Neves will come back in a couple of weeks. But I hope he kind of builds this, keeps playing Cunha, keeps playing Joao Gomes. Look, Nunes, Cunha and Gomez are going to be players that we're going to build around next season. And Kilman as well. Like, play these guys. I don't want to see Giammattino starting every week. I don't want to see Adama starting every week when he's going to leave. Just, start these players who are going to be the core of our squad next season and let them kind of get used to each other. But yeah, fair play to Julian Lopetegui, and I think we're safe now. So, yeah.